Summer's hotter weather is finally here, but don't let hair loss also make you sweat. Regrow hair with help from Hims. They provide access to personalized treatment so you can see thicker, fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. Get started from the comfort of home. Fill out an intake form and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you for free. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Hail Mary. That's HIMS.com/Hail Mary for personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/Hail Mary. Individual results may vary. Based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Dak.
Why'd you name him Wego? Alrighty, welcome back to the Wisco Fanatics Tuesday evening. Today we are doing a Packers recap and preview, recapping the Packers win over the Cardinals in Arizona and previewing the matchup against Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up on Sunday Night Football. So we're going to hit the intro and get into the recap.
Welcome to another episode of the Wisco Fanatics Show, where we cover the Packers, Bucks, Brewers, and Badgers basketball and football teams from an optimistic and realistic perspective.
Wisco Fanatics is brought to you by Cardboard Legacy, Wisconsin's most complete sports card shop. Buy, sell, grade, and consign all at their location in Oshkosh.
Alrighty, so we're going to jump right into the Packers and Cardinals recap, starting with Simon and talking about the split between coverage and blitzes.
Yeah, I guess just more of the same stuff. Packers blitzed on only 8 plays, kind of mixed-ish results. 4-yarder out to McBride, incomplete 8 yards to McBride, plus a Quay roughing the passer on 3rd down. I think you guys had a better look at it than I did. When I saw Brissett get hit, it didn't seem that bad to me, but then I rewatched it and it looked like he just smacked her in the face. It was harder to see in person.
Yeah, he just got to get his hands to the chest and out the face.
Yeah, it wasn't like a late hit. It was definitely the hands to the face.
Yeah. Which is why, they're not going to show that replay at Cardinal Stadium, so I didn't get a better look at it. It just sucked that it was on 3rd down because that would have ended up in a 4th down and them kicking a field goal rather than scoring. And then it was a 14-yarder to Wilson and a negative 7-yard sack. McBride for 3, 5 for Knight, and an incomplete. All in all, they went 5 for 7, 34 yards and a sack versus the blitz, which is not terrible. Like I said, that Quay Walker roughing the passer really hurt us. And then
you said they blitzed 8 times?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how many
7 pass attempts and then a sack.
Yeah. I don't know how many. I'm just going to tie one of my stats in this real quick.
Go for it.
That's kind of interesting is Quay Walker had 5 pressures, so I don't know if it came on all 8 of those blitzes or if it was maybe dropping other people in coverage, but I will say Quay Walker ended up with 5 pressures this game, so it seems like when they are blitzing, it's been a lot of Quay.
Yeah. Quay had outside of that, I think Quay had we'll get there.
We'll get
to
the game, though. For sure, we'll get to Quay. Jake,
and then, one more thing. The Packers played a lot more base defense this week. The defense ended up running 88 plays or something, and 26 of those ended up being in base, which is slightly higher than normal because Packers run a ton of nickel. I just thought it was slightly interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think we'll talk about that when we get into the secondary too, how I feel about that, because we're going to talk about somebody specific. But Jake, how'd you feel about the pass rush?
Yeah, just real quick to piggyback off that last thing that Simon said, I think we're going to see a lot more base defense this week as well, just because of the offense that Pittsburgh runs. They run a lot of 12 personnel. They use all 3 tight ends in the passing game as well, so they're going to have to run a lot of base, get a lot of big bodies on the field. But, again, we'll get into that. I'm very excited to talk about the Steelers and Packers game. It's going to be a wild week for me. I'll just say that. So in terms of pass rush, we might as well just call this the Micah Parsons section for the for today and for the near future. The Packers defense had 6 sacks total, 8 quarterback hits, 27 pressures. Brooks had 5 of them, so I thought that he played pretty good. A little bit of an unsung hero. Nobody really talked about him after the game. Obviously, the stars shined very bright on Sunday for the Packers, especially when they needed them. I'm assuming a lot of our recap's going to be talking about the guys that showed up when we needed them to show up, right? Wooden had a really clutch pressure. His pressure actually forced Brissett to move, which led to the forced fumble. So nicely done by him. Micah Parsons, he had 10 pressures. This is all via PFF, by the way. That's where I wrote down all my stats. 10 pressures. He had 37 pass rush snaps, 3 sacks, 2 hits, 3 hurries. He had a 43.8 win percentage. That is fucking absurd, dude. That is absurd.
That's like double elite numbers.
Yes.
Like if we were talking in the draft and you said that somebody had a 21.5% win percentage on pass rushes, you'd be like, that's elite. 43 is stupid.
Drafting that guy in the first round. He was doubled 11 times on Sunday as well. So in his 37 pass rush snaps, he was doubled 11 times. He still ended with 10 pressures and 3 sacks, bro. Did you see nasty numbers?
So last year, our leading person in pressures was Rashawn Gary with 49. Micah Parsons is on pace for 105.
Yep.
On the double teams, he also generated 4 pressures off the double teams.
Yeah, that's nasty.
That's nasty work.
He could have had another sack if it wasn't for the hip drop tackle. I will say, at first I was just like, "What the hell?" Because my emotions were going so crazy in the first half. And then after I saw the replay, I was like, "Yep, that's the right call. That is 100% the right call."
Only the second time this year that's been called.
I don't think he was doing it on purpose, but when you're chasing a big dude like that from behind and jumping like to try to catch him, like you slow him down, then your momentum of your body keeps you going. And he did hip drop him. It was a hip drop. He fell onto his legs and stuff, but it's just a rough call.
It's a kind of tackle that like you don't want to like help a guy fall forward. So you're trying to pull him backwards by using your body weight to be able to drag him down, and that's where
he needs to let him fall forward.
You need to let him fall forward.
He wouldn't have got his sack at that time, but it still had been a great tackle.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. I mean, other than that, I mean, he was the best player in the field all damn day. Either side. I just wrote one last thing. I wrote Parsons on Sunday showed exactly why Packers fans have been wanting an all-in move for some years, going back to the early Rodgers years. Green Bay doesn't win this game without him, and they definitely don't win it with Kenny Clark on the roster. That's all I'm going to say. Not trying to throw Kenny Clark under the bus, but a fact is a fact.
If we're looking at the D-line, without Devontae Wyatt and Lucas Van Ness, we absolutely could have used Kenny Clark in this game.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny that Micah Parsons made the comment that, the Cowboys wanted a run defender, and it looks like I played pretty good against the run so far this year. And it's like,
I don't think Jake's saying that if we had Kenny Clark and Parsons that we couldn't win. He's saying that it was worth giving up.
I'm just saying if we had Kenny Clark, we could have used him because we had 2 guys missing on the D line, which I think is part of how we make 2 running backs who are pretty much no names, get a handful of runs and have a good yard. You brought up Micah Parsons, obviously a whole bunch. He is the only player in the NFL with 20-plus quarterback pressure percentage and a 20+% double team percentage this season.
That's filthy.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. So you're talking more than 1 in 5 plays that he is getting double teamed and pressures. So with that, Micah Parsons got his first sack on the first drive of the game on 3rd and goal, which was very helpful. Colby Wooden had a very silent first quarter, and then I complained about him, and then he played very, very well after that.
More complaining.
Did have 2 pretty good run stops in the second quarter. We talked about the Micah Parsons hip drop, and it was, to me, just one of the games where Micah Parsons single-handedly wrecked this game for the Cardinals. Obviously, we know that other guys had, parts to play in it. Like, we're going to talk about some of these other guys. Like, Brian's going to bring up a guy right after this who also had a large part in this. But Micah Parsons wrecked the game for the Cardinals. So, jumping into the linebackers, I know there's another guy that Brian's going to talk about.
Yeah, and before moving on from defensive line, I just want to give Gary's strip sack was a huge play in the game. Momentum, like, that brought us down to tie the game. Good on us for capitalizing. That's only our 3rd turnover produced this year. I will say I still think I that the Marvin Harrison catch needs to be a fumble, because if that happens in the end zone, they call it a touchdown. So it doesn't make much sense to me, but either way, great job capitalizing on that. So for linebackers, yeah, Quay, I mean, he had an awesome game. He had the penalty, which, you like Simon said, that happens on third down. It sucks. They end up, instead of a field goal, they're scoring a touchdown. But he also had 1.5 sacks, 5 pressures, 5 tackles, and he was just kind of all over the field. One of those, he was in on the QB sneak stop. Speaking of the QB sneak stop, moving on to Edgerrin Cooper, kind of had a quiet game, but he made that really big tackle on the sidelines to make it 4th and 1 that ultimately led to that stop. So without that tackle there, which was a really good tackle in space, he's running and ripping that guy, kind of twisting him out of bounds. If he doesn't make that tackle, that turnover on downs doesn't happen. And then McDuffie actually had a decent game, adding 5 tackles as well. So
he was good in the run.
He had 5 run stops. So,
yeah.
So pretty decent game there. They got torn apart in coverage. But a lot of that is going against them. Like, even if just because they're the closest or whatever. But it's definitely an issue. So I'll just say it now, but I'll bring it up again later. But tight ends this year against us have 46 catches, 357 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Jeez.
So I
want to say 5 out of the 6 games, a tight end has been the leading receiver.
So there hasn't been one game where we gave up less than 6 receptions to a tight end. So, or a combination of tight ends. So tight ends are killing us right now. But as far as missed tackles, the team as a whole only had 7 of them. That's kind of okay. Anything less than 10 is a good number in my opinion, because a lot, you're playing a lot of athletes that are going to break some tackles and stuff like that. Yep. So the linebackers only had 2 total missed tackles, but the team as a whole had 7 missed tackles. I think we pretty much take that every day. It's not great, but it's definitely not bad. It's acceptable, is what I would say.
I'll definitely take it. I remember covering tackling when we still had Joe Barry, and I was happy if we were under 12.
Yeah. Yeah, but both of them were – Parsons and Rashawn Gary were not on the field on that QB sneak. And both of the linebackers, all 3 of them really kind of, good job on the D-line. But you see, I think it's Cooper that runs in from the side and really kind of hits him too and kind of brings him down. So, just good job by them.
Yeah. Yeah, Darian, we do need better coverage against the tight ends. I think that might be something we talk about in a minute. But, Jake, how did they do 3rd and 4th down?
So I tried to take a little bit different approach with some of my notes this week to try to give a little bit different look at it here. But overall, we let the Cardinals go 7 for 14 on 3rd down, which is not great for us and good for them. They had 23 total first downs in the game, 13 passing, 5 rushing, and 5 from penalty. 3 of the 5 on the penalty came on 3rd down. That really hurts. Yeah. That's like backbreaker kind of stuff. So the main point of my recap notes is to really talk about the mental toughness that this team showed. All the things that people want to say about LaFleur. I had some colorful language I was screaming at my TV as well on Sunday. During live action, but this team showed a lot of guts, I thought, in my opinion. Of all the penalties on 3rd downs, one of them was a 21-yard pass interference on Williams. I'm not going to lie to you. I think Williams was getting fried. Everybody was only talking about Hobbs, but, dude, Williams was out of place plenty, in my opinion.
I have a couple things in my notes.
Okay, hey. The roughing the passer as previously mentioned, and then Parsons' hip tackle also as previously mentioned. So I just wrote down lots of penalties, some mental errors in coverage, and some large gains. This defense was really frustrating the first 3 quarters. Some things that they gave up on 3rd down. They gave up a touchdown. That absolute blown coverage for the first touchdown by McBride. What the hell? Quite literally the best pass catcher they have. I know Marvin Harrison Jr. exists, but Trey's been doing it for a couple of years now. He's been doing it at an elite level for a couple of years now. So I am okay calling him the best pass catcher on the Cardinals. A 43-yard completion on a 3rd and 23 can't happen. You cannot have those things happen. That is inexcusable. They also had a 35-yard gain
in the coaching section.
Yep. They also had a 35-yard gain to Marvin Harrison Jr. On a 3rd and 14. And something that I read about this was that it was a zone coverage call. Shocker. and Hobbs thought it was press man. What the hell is going on? I'm sorry, but that kind of stuff just literally cannot happen. You cannot have one guy playing man coverage and then he gets cooked by a 6'4" guy. I have a lot of things I want to say about coaching, but we're going to move on here real quick.
My dad said I hate the call that we didn't cover the tight end with our lineman when every play against Parsons, the offensive lineman was a yard off the line.
Actually, I don't hate that.
Yeah, like Darian said, we need to figure out better coverage against tight end. You got to figure something out. Simon, how'd you feel about the secondary?
They struggled as a whole, especially Evan Williams. He allowed a 3rd and 23, and I don't really know what he was doing if you relook at that play, because it looked like they were playing too deep, and he took the guy down the seam instead of covering. I think it was Zay Jones on the outside.
Yep.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't know, inexcusable. The other pass he allowed, I won't fault him too much. He was right there, and the guy, I think he just made an excellent catch and play. Hobbs allowed a 35-yarder on 3rd and 14. McBride was wide open. I thought McKinney and Bullard didn't play too bad. I think there's a lot of people that are complaining about Xavier McKinney this year, but I don't get it.
People aren't throwing in his direction.
Yeah, he hasn't been targeted that much this year. I think he allowed 3 catches this week, but I don't think any of them were super consequential. I think Bullard had a pretty good solid game overall. I don't think he played bad either. But I think it was just Williams and Hobbs just got cooked this game.
I know on one of the plays, Matt LaFleur said that today or yesterday during his press conference. He's like, we're in a zone, but you have one guy playing press man on the other side. It was either the 3rd and 23 or the one where he went 3rd and 14 or whatever. So I think that was Hobbs getting cooked. And I think, so he's saying Hobbs wasn't even supposed to be playing press, and he's up there playing press for whatever reason. So, so I think, he defended Hobbs a little bit, but
shocker.
I mean, you can't. He's not going to go out there as much as as much as people like to complain about our coaching staff and stuff. That's something they don't do, is they go out there and throw their players under the bus.
Yeah, I didn't.
And you saw that this whole week or weekend in the NFL between the Dolphins and the Jets and all the horrible teams. They're throwing their players right under the bus, and that's something that I'm glad this team doesn't do. If they're going to handle it, they're going to handle it in-house and not let the world know about it.
Yeah, and I'm happy about that. So I didn't want him to go out there and roast him, but basically he was asked hey, Carrington Valentine, he made it sound like basically, nope, we're just going to stick with Hobbs. That's the way it sounded. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I'll just say he tries or he plays really hard. I'm like, great. That doesn't mean he plays well.
Let's just turn Devin Funchess into a tight end. That's how I feel about this situation.
Yeah, Hobbs is good in the slot, and we're forcing him outside, and he's struggling in the outside. He's showing us that he's struggling on the outside, and we're not doing anything about it.
That's what's bugging me, is that they're playing him basically out of position.
And if you want to say, well, Carrington Valentine sucks at tackling, great. Guess what? All we needed in that situation was coverage. We didn't, not tackling. We needed someone that can cover somebody. And then, especially when you're going down the field, and then the first thing that happens is they target Hobbs again and drill a 20-something yard play on that last drive to really kind of give them the chance to go at the end zones and stuff. Thank God, Micah Parsons shot out of a cannon on that 3rd sack. But, for me, it's and maybe CV gives up that same reception, but to not try it and for Carrington Valentine to only get 2 snaps in a game where Hobbs is literally getting just destroyed is kind of crazy to me.
Darian said, I saw that Nate Hobbs and Nixon both had ratings above 100. Nixon's when targeted was 116.7, and Hobbs when targeted was 118.8.
Yeah, he was credited against with the touchdown. At least he had a pass breakup.
Yeah, Nixon did. Brandon said, just get better every week and we'll be fine. And I'm glad somebody brought this up, because I was going to say something at some point that we are in a position where the Packers are 4-1-1 at the top of the NFC. With the Buccaneers losing last night, the Packers have the best winning percentage in the NFC. Think about all the complaining that has happened about the Packers and the number of people saying, this team's not a contender, this team's not a contender, while they're at the top of the NFC. Now, I understand we're entering week 8, so like we're kind of almost to the halfway point. I'll say after next week, we'll be at the halfway point. All of that said, Packers are technically at the 1 seed, and we know that there's 13 things they can do better. I would rather be in that position than to be like, okay, Packers are perfect. It's week 7 and Packers are perfect. There's nothing they can fix. There's nothing they can do better. I don't want to be that team that peaks in the first 40% of the season, coasts, and then falls asleep in their first round matchup and gets eliminated. I would rather have some discomfort knowing you can improve some things and get better, like Brandon said, every week.
Yeah, and I agree with you. As long as we're, that's actually showing up on tape. And if it's not, then we do make the adjustments. And sometimes I feel like this coaching staff and everyone as a whole has been a little resistant to make those changes. So I will say, I feel like people are ripping apart Hobbs and Banks a lot. Well, it's hard not to rip apart Hobbs after this last game. I'll say both of them been injured. They're kind of getting their feet wet in Jeff Hafley's system and stuff. So maybe Hobbs will, get comfortable. But I just do think that maybe we need to rotate him with CV, and maybe we, need to throw him in the slot. I know Bullard's been playing really well, close to the line of scrimmage, but maybe when it's 3rd and 10, we want to put Hobbs in the slot because, Bullard hasn't been great in coverage down the field a little bit. And then you have CV on the outside. Like, rotate some coverages and something. Just give something a go.
Carrington Valentine can have more than 2 snaps.
Yeah, he needs to. Because when he has played decent. So,
yeah.
And
he's throw some different looks at your opponent.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what
David said. Every Raider fan knows Hobbs is a slot corner, and that's what he's like paid at. If you look at like what his pay is for corners, he's paid as a slot corner. Like $12 million for a slot corner is not bad. Yeah. But he's not playing slot corner. So, going forward, Jake, how did the Packers do in the red zone defensively? Cody, we're going to get to coaching in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, so red zone defense. So, obviously, we just had a huge conversation, and I wrote this before the show. Everyone has some level of concern with the defense, rightfully so. I understand what everybody's complaining about, but at the same time, I think it's a good thing to have some things to work on. I literally, shit you not, it's on my notebook. I was like, God, what the hell am I going to read now when I read my fucking notes? So,
smile and wave, boys.
Jesus Christ. Wow, it's almost like we've been doing this show together for a while.
Yeah. Next topic.
So they, I also wrote that they're showing some hunger and poise in some clutch situations. I really am going to try to hammer that home. I think that cannot be overlooked. Everybody's focusing on the negative. Shocker again. People are focusing on the negative things instead of the positive things that are happening. But both TDs that were given up to McBride, that they went 2 for 4, so they scored 2 touchdowns. The first touchdown was a blown coverage on a 3rd and 4. Second touchdown was set up by a 35-yard pass that should have never happened. After that, that also gave them the lead. That set them up to take the lead, 20-13 going into the 4th quarter. After that, the defense was really locked down. Arizona had 24 plays in the 4th quarter for 82 total yards. That's only 3.4 yards per play. They had 2 turnover on downs and a field goal in the 4th quarter. So the Packers defense, when they needed to, they turned up.
Which is good because they've been giving up a lot of points in the 4th quarter.
Yes, they have. They've looked really good in the 4th quarter. Obviously, they took that personally.
So, surprisingly improving section. Bryant, how did you feel about special teams?
Yeah, I'll say we have another special teams issue though, and but this time it's a good issue to have. We don't.
Yeah.
Havlicek has made it pretty hard to cut him, like straight up cut him. He just hit a franchise record 61-yard field goal.
Hell yeah.
I thought it only just barely cleared the
No.
But people are saying it was good from a long way.
It was that could have probably been good from like 65 or so.
I was going to say 64, but 65 probably, yeah.
I caution the fact that this guy was a substitute teacher or about to be a substitute teacher for a reason. So everyone's just like, oh, just cut McManus now and just move forward. It's like,
he's
if
also
we can
getting
ride this
paid
out,
$15 million for the next 3 years.
Exactly. And if we can ride this out and see how it goes, then, if McManus doesn't play this week, we don't rush him back and he has another big week, then it's conversation maybe. But for me, Brandon McManus is also, I'm pretty sure he was a kicker for the Super Bowl team, was he not, for the Broncos? I would have to look.
Yeah, he's like 36 years old.
Yeah. So this is a guy that has,
now here's a guy. Sorry.
I was about to do that. Now here's a guy that has a lot of experience and has a lot of big clutch kicks. So let's not be a prisoner of the moment and be like, nope, just goodbye, McManus. And then we have kicking issues again because we let McManus go to the Giants or something, and the
weather starts turning.
Exactly, and Haverslick gets the yips. If anything, this is just another Goody gem where we might turn this into like a 7th round conditional pick. Nothing crazy, but if the Giants call and McManus is healthy and they're like, hey, we'll give you a 7th conditional. Haverslick comes over here, he stays our we'll give you a 7th and maybe or whatever.
It's one of those things where you can let McManus heal for another week, and then, like you said, you can field some offers in that time. The trade deadline is 2 weeks away.
Exactly.
So you can say, hey, Giants, give us a 6th, and we'll give you Haverslick and a 7th.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I'll say every kick that Haverslick has kicked, I feel like it's been dead straight. There hasn't been left or right movement on it. He's just been drilling everything. So as much as I'd love to carry 2 kickers on the freaking roster the rest of the year, I just don't, know if that's feasible, especially with Watson and stuff coming back. But it's a good problem to have. I'll say this will be a big challenge if he kicks in Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is one of the hardest places to kick in the NFL, especially the open face towards the Allegheny River that has a lot of wind and everything. So our aside from the kickers, our return game, I don't feel like looked very good. This time, our return defense did have that one really bad play at just an awful time, to give up a 39-yarder plus a face mask, which is the 2nd or 3rd week in a row we've had a personal foul on special teams returns. So that needs to get cleaned up.
I think it was Mosby who was activated for the first time of the year this week.
Yeah. So that put him essentially right into field goal range, right after we tie the game. We
put
turn
him
around
at our 45-yard line.
Yeah. And then the one thing with Haverslick, I know Coach LaFleur said yesterday he didn't want that ball kicked into the end zone after we scored the go-ahead touchdown. He wanted them to return that because he was like, well, we're not going to let one bad play, dictate what we're going to do. Because really, for most of the year, we've been pretty good stopping people shy of the 30. So maybe that's where, McManus is a little bit better. He's, but overall, just special teams, they were a positive this week for sure. Last week I felt they were pretty neutral. This week they're definitely a positive. That a 61-yarder. Also, kudos, not to never mind Tyler talk on that, but I was really glad to see that happen because I was ready to fire off a message why the hell do we not just get it to middle field and take I thought for a Hail Mary, and then he trots out a kicker that just drills a 61-yarder. So I'm like, oh, well, that works too. But for sure, I thought we were just going to kneel it, and my head was going to explode.
So I want to use it as a transition point because we talked about how important Micah Parsons was, and we don't win the game without Micah Parsons. We don't win the game without Lucas Haverslick. You can take the 3 points away that happened right before the end of the halftime, and Matt LaFleur deserves credit for that. But if you take those 3 points away, Arizona doesn't need a touchdown at the end of the game. A field goal wins it for Arizona. The Packers could have lost this game 25-23 or 25-24, I mean. So the field goal right before halftime, absolutely needed in this win because that made the Cardinals have to go for a touchdown at the end of the game. So with that, shout out to Matt LaFleur for not kneeling in that situation, get a big chunk to Golden and steal 3 points right before halftime, and you getting the ball back right away. Obviously, it didn't work out.
I think it was Dobbs in the middle of the game.
It was Dobbs.
It was Dobbs, yeah.
Was it Dobbs?
Yeah, it was Dobbs.
Okay.
That was his 22-yarder.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, the other thing before I switch to a different coach with Matt LaFleur is his quote on the 4th and 2 and the going for the field goal right before halftime is he said, "Scared money don't make money." And then the other thing that he said, which was on the 4th and 2 towards the end of the game, instead of kicking a game-tying field goal in that situation, going for the touchdown, he said Love's reaction as he was coming off the field when they were sending the field goal unit out, that's what prompted him to change his mind. He said if Jordan Love feels like they can go and pick something up, that he's going to put the ball in the players' hands and let them play it, and that they're going to figure it out. And I love that, honestly.
I also, to jump in real quick, I do like one other thing he said before you go on to the other coaches. He did call himself out for that horrible 3rd down play call, because he basically said, well, my thought was if we don't get anything, we'll just go for it on 4th and 1, but then I felt like we were further back. But he does this like once a game, or when we're one of these close games, though, he does this horrible ass 3rd down call, that these little pitch outsides or whatever, which is just
that twice.
Yeah, he did that. We call a timeout, and we do that turnaround handoff that was all botched to Wilson on a 3rd down play where we get stuffed. I'm like, what are we doing? We have Josh Jacobs, who was running much better in the second half. Just hand it up if you know you're going to go for it on 4th, give that bowling ball 2 shots right up the middle to get that 1st down. Don't do this weird pitch outside crap.
So I'm going to say 2 things on that. One, that's the fucking Mike McCarthy special. Running outside on 3rd and short. Hate that shit. Hate it. And I will say on the Emmanuel Wilson one, where Jordan Love was holding the ball was kind of like right in front of him, a little bit to his right. Emmanuel Wilson ended up back here, and Love had to kind of turn quick and hand it to him for Wilson to go behind him. I think Emmanuel Wilson ran the wrong route, quote unquote route, the wrong direction.
The wrong path, yeah.
Based on where Love was originally trying to hand him the ball, I think Wilson ran basically the wrong play, because it looked like Love was trying to hand him the ball to go between the guard and the tackle.
Yeah.
That's where it looked like to me. Yeah. And a power run on 3rd and 1, I'm all in. And that's what you just said to do with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs said, and he played way more than they wanted him to. They didn't want him to play at all, which we'll talk about. But to counter your point, Bryant, they wanted him to play 20 snaps. He played 31.
Yeah.
So I think that we want to just throw Josh Jacobs out there more. And, if it's a playoff game, I guarantee they are. But in week 7, it's Emmanuel.
Yeah, but in a game-winning situation, I know he put his balls on the table or whatever you want to say, and we went for it on 4th down. But I feel like he put us in a tougher position by that bogus call, just running up the middle. Or even if you don't want to do Jacobs, if you don't want to do Jacobs, how about we give Chris Brooks a couple carries when Emmanuel Wilson isn't playing all that well either? Chris Brooks, I feel like he's been erased all of a sudden for no reason, and he can catch the ball well. And he can run the ball well, and all of a sudden he's erased. Like, if you need a little bowling ball, then use Chris Brooks there and let him run up the middle twice.
I can run the craft shaft.
Okay, my problem is that that Josh Jacobs has a calf injury, and you're trying to run a speed out with a guy with a fucking calf injury. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Dumbest thing I've ever seen.
My biggest problem with it is, like, our offensive line hasn't been great in the run blocking. So you're taking these long developing plays to the outside. That just doesn't make sense to me.
And we got 2 tight ends that are mid at best at run blocking as well. And you're trying to run to the side with the 2 tight ends that aren't good at it. What the hell are we doing, bro?
So the interior of the offensive line was awful in run blocking this game. And then so when you're trying to run laterally, they're getting quick pressure up the middle, and Josh Jacobs has nowhere to go. Like, so he's trying to run out and bounce out and around them, and it's just not going to happen in that situation. So this is where I need, this is where I want LaFleur to either one, give it to Chris Brooks and let him run up the middle. Like, make him part of the game plan again a little bit. Just a little bit.
Cody's saying something that I'm going to echo, and I'm going to say much, much more about when we get into Jordan Love. But he said that the Texans game last night is another example when going for plays on 3rd and 4th, trust your quarterback. And Houston did not do that. They ran the ball on 3rd and 4th and gave Seattle the ball on the 45, which gave them 6 points that drive. Let Jordan Love throw the ball. You did it on 4th and 2. You can trust him to throw the ball on 3rd and 1, and just let Jordan Love throw the ball more.
Or you know what else?
I'm going to talk more about this in a little bit when we get through and we get to Jordan Love. But the Packers ran 5 fucking play action plays. 5. Yeah. Double that and give it to the same person, please.
Also, another thing is Jordan Love is healthier this year. Run a damn play out or option run with him. Please. Let him and let Jordan run for it.
And let Jordan make the decision.
Yeah.
You could literally put Savion Williams in the backfield with Jordan Love, dude, so he could pitch it.
You could do that too.
Sick.
You could do so much stuff.
Yeah.
But don't pitch it to a running back with a calf injury.
I'm this
out of a
QB.
QB. You pitch it to him out of a QB sneak, which fine, that's kind of tricky or whatever. But this is the NFL. You're not going to trick too many people. As soon as they see him flip it, they're all running right through that line.
If it's a 2-on-1 situation with a cornerback and you have Love and Savion 5 yards apart, and you need 1 yard.
Yeah.
Okay. So the other part of the coaching aspect that I want to say here is I'm not letting Jeff Hafley off the hook. We talked a whole bunch about Nate Hobbs and Carrington Valentine and just the play, the snap count between the two of them. But Hafley needs to change something to get the defense off the field. Sustained drives by opposing offenses are shortening games and giving fewer possessions to the offense, and they're not playing efficient enough for that to not be a factor. We've 3 games in a row now. I would say the Browns game, the Bengals game, and the Cardinals game, all 3 of them shortened the game on the Packers.
Yep.
3 of them, 3 games in a row with a bye in between, you had to work on it.
And this offense is very like this offense gets in grooves, right? And if they're sat down and they're not really getting to touch the ball, it's not good. Look what they did in the second half against Dallas once they started just getting a lot of possessions. They're like 5 scoring drives in a row because they got a groove going and they're not. And yeah, Dallas was scoring, but Dallas was scoring quickly and getting off the field relatively quickly too. And where it's like, okay, we kept just pumping it out too. Where now, Arizona's starting the game with an 8-minute drive that ends in a field goal. That's great. But you look up and you're like, oh, there goes half. We were going into halftime while the other game that started at our same time had like 8 minutes left in the second quarter.
And then Bryant, you and I had fun making a bunch of nicknames for this, but I do not love Jeff Hafley calling prevent defenses on 3rd and long. That gave me Joe Barry vibes, and I did not like it. 2 3rd and longs, dropping 2 linebackers into coverage on 1st and 10 with Arizona up by 3 did not mama the Mia either. 2 guys dropping behind the sticks on a 1st down with your opponent up by 3 points. Saying, here, complete a pass to your running back for 11. I think you guys talked about it, that they played so much zone coverage that's a big contributing factor to Jacoby Brissett at one point being able to complete 14 passes in a row because all he had to do was find the soft spot. And I will say there's opportunity that they could have had more completions. Because there was a pass where Trey McBride didn't sit down in the zone. He took an extra step to his left, and credit to Jacoby Brissett for not throwing that ball into his chest because he would have gotten annihilated by Quay Walker. Yep. But if Trey McBride and Jonathan Vilma talked about him for 7 straight fucking minutes after that about, oh, he's so good. Look at how mad he is. He's so good. You can tell that he cares because he's mad. And they showed him for like 4 straight minutes of television of Trey McBride just swearing at himself on the bench. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. We get it. If Trey McBride sat down in the zone instead of completing his hook, yeah, it's a completion. But Jesus, move on. Packers have been on offense for 44 seconds already. We're still talking about the Cardinals offense. Yep. Shut up. God, I hate Jonathan Vilma. Yeah. Every time I see that he's doing a Packer game, I'm like, fuck, this is going to be annoying. It's like if they let Richard Sherman do a Packer game, like who the hell's idea was that? Yeah. You can tell he doesn't like them.
Yeah, it'd be like letting Ryan Clark call a
I was just thinking that. Yeah. I like how he tries to play it off like he doesn't hate Aaron Rodgers. And
yeah,
come on, dude. Just admit it.
All right. So I didn't want to let Hafley off the hook because I get that he's like a darling because of the way that the Packers defense was for the first 4 weeks of the season. And I will say, even the Bengals game, it didn't bother me anything with the defense because you held a team to 18 points that has Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on it.
Yep.
Even with a veteran quarterback who's been there for a week, that's 18 points is still good no matter what. You hold a team to 18 points, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Yeah, I'm sick of this whole, the Packers play backup quarterbacks. I'm sorry. I think Arizona looks better with Jacoby at
they do
quarterback. They look more balanced, and he can run the offense better than what Kyler can. This is the same thing with Joe Flacco. You're playing a backup. Yeah, okay, Joe Burrow would obviously be better, but playing Joe Flacco versus Browning was a lot more difficult. And now we might run into this against Carolina because Bryce Young just has high ankle sprain. I'm gonna be honest, I'd probably rather face Bryce Young than Andy Dalton. That one's a little more close, but Andy Dalton is a veteran.
I'd rather play Bryce Young or
Bryce
I'd
Young's
rather
been
play
playing a little bit better, but that's another one where it's like for me they're pretty much the same. You know, they don't move the needle much different.
I'd rather not play Rico Dowdle.
Yeah, he
looks good. He looks good.
Hey, my
We're
fantasy
gonna
team
need
says thank
something
you.
back. Yeah. Atham saying LOL to every Raider fan knowing that Hobbs is a slot corner. Switch to the offense, starting with the tight ends.
Kraft at it again. He's so good. He just had so many clutch plays where if Jordan Love needed him, he was there. And that the 4th and 2 play, I mean, Jordan Love literally just stared him down, and Kraft just ran it. He ran a good route, and Jordan Love got him the ball. 3 of his 6 catches were on 3rd and 4th down, all for first downs. Love that. He had a total of 58 yards and a touchdown. John Fitzpatrick. Wrong one. Added a catch for 6 yards, and Musgrave, man, I just don't think he fits. I think that's just like the cold truth of it at this point. It's hard to think he'll magically just become a guy. He's just sort of there. I know we're still in
scenery kind of guy.
Yeah. I like his talent a little bit. I just don't think he fits in what we're trying to do. And I know it's only year 3, so technically we're going to hold on to him barring like a trade next year or whatever, but it's hard to see him. I don't know what the deal is.
I think he's spent too much time injured to figure out how he fits.
Yeah, and maybe he comes back next year and we see a lot more of him, but right now it doesn't seem like he fits. We'll see.
Atham said Kraft's stock is up and just keep running Musgrave out on the fake motion jet sweep. I feel like there's going to end up being like one big play this year where Musgrave ends up wide open and he'll get to the 5-yard line and trip on his own feet, but it'll be a big play. But we just haven't seen it yet, and it's going to tie into something I'm going to say later when we get to talking about Jordan Love. But Brian, how do you feel about the wide receivers?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say it's pretty clear we're missing Reed and Watson at this point. They're going to be, if Watson can get back this week, is going to be a good addition. Aside from Dobbs and Golden, there's pretty much no one doing anything. Wicks, I know, has been injured off and on, but even when he's been on the field, he really has not. He's pretty much been non-existent. So Reed is a little bit further out. We're probably looking at after. I don't even know when it's going to be, but after his foot surgery as well. I don't know if he's working off the side or anything yet.
I'm thinking that the earliest I've seen is like week 14.
Yeah, I was going to say week 12 to week 14 would probably be my guess, like for a playoff run. But hopefully Watson will have to be activated this week. I will say that does not mean that he will be active during the game. So we'll get our hopes up, but don't be surprised. And if he is active, I'm thinking 10 to 12 snaps probably. But either way, if we can see him on the field, Matt LaFleur said he's looked good. I'm kind of jumping ahead, but for this game with the wide receivers, Dobbs was once again solid, 6 for 72. That's a great game by him.
He had a quiet game. Like, I don't remember seeing much of him, and then I looked at the stat line, and I was like, oh.
Because he's just so, like, he's such a safety blanket for
consistent. He's
just consistent. He reminds me a lot of like James Jones, like during that trio of wide receivers. Not necessarily the same type of receiver, but just very quiet and consistent. Then Golden, he was more quiet than I wanted him to be. He had 4 for 37, but 3 of which produced a first down. Tyler shared this stat with me. Golden's actually leading the league on 3rd and 4th down, averaging 23.6 yards per reception on those downs, and then 189 of his 249 yards, which is 75.9% of his yardage, has come on 3rd or 4th down this year. What that's telling me is that they clearly trust him on 3rd or 4th down. So I wish they would trust him a little more on 1st and 2nd down with anything other than an end around. Can we get the ball in this guy's hand? He's just so good. Like,
that to me says that, like, the people that think that the Matthew Golden breakout is coming, the fact that they are trusting him,
he is on the verge. Like, I know he's not putting up huge numbers like Igbuka, and then I seen someone like that Golden tweeted LOL right after Tez Johnson got his first touchdown. And then these bum outlets that try to be Packers reporters are like, oh, he's mad because Tez Johnson got his first touchdown for him. I highly, highly doubt that. Matthew Golden has been an integral part of this offense already. He's not putting up huge numbers, but he has been a factor for us this year.
There's several other wide receivers, rookie wide receivers that haven't gotten their first touchdowns yet either.
Yeah, so Golden is showing that he's going to be a very, very good wide receiver for us already going forward in his career, barring something going wrong. So, but overall, pretty quiet night from the wide receivers. Golden and Dobbs were pretty much the only ones that did anything. Wicks did have one catch for 5 yards. I'll say Malik Heath is pretty much just turned into a blocker at this point. So he's kind of expendable to me. I was hoping to get a rep or two where we've seen, Bo versus Max, but I think the game was probably too close for Matt LaFleur to want to monkey around and try something like that. But other than that, they played well. Golden and Dobbs played well.
I just wanted to throw this out there. Travis Hunter just caught his first touchdown this past weekend. The number 2 overall pick just got his first touchdown. And Teteroa McMillan had a 2-touchdown game, but he just got his first touchdowns also.
Yeah.
So it's not like everybody else who was drafted ahead of him is just out there scoring touchdowns left and right. The other one that I want to bring up and make fun of is the Bears for selecting Colston Loveland ahead of Tyler Warren, because Colston Loveland is not doing anything.
And everyone knew that Kyler Warren was a better tight end.
Everybody knew. When they drafted Loveland over Warren,
we laughed. I was laughing. Me and Simon were laughing in the damn crowd.
I will say I liked Loveland more than Warren, but I couldn't believe they selected him. I said that to you guys during the draft. I like Loveland more.
Bro, Tyler Warren's a much better blocker. And
Tyler Warren is a monster.
He's a much.
I will see. It's also
early.
I think if they didn't have Cole Kmet, I think Loveland would be producing more as well.
And then why did you draft Loveland?
Because they're the Bears franchise. I'm just saying.
That's sad that's an acceptable answer, bro.
Make bad decisions and get extensions for it.
Hey, they're pretty excited. They're 4-2. I was kind of hoping Detroit. I was really hoping Detroit lost last night because I wanted to see the Bears fans maybe just start tearing apart the Lions fans because they were ahead of them in the division again.
That would have been
already hit them for all the crying they were doing this week.
So on the passing game distribution, like you said, Romeo Dobbs had 8 targets. Tucker Kraft had 6 targets, caught 5 of them. 10 had 10 and caught 5 of them. Matthew Golden had 4 and caught 4. At least that's what I saw. Am I wrong?
I think it just depends. God, PFF doesn't weird, right? Like if they have a throwaway, they still count it as a target.
Yep, it changed since I looked it up yesterday. Now it says 8.
Yeah.
But
if you look on NFL films, they credit Kraft with 10.
And PFF originally had 10, and now I see that it's 8.
And now, yeah.
Okay. We'll go with that. We'll just call it 9. We'll be in the middle. We'll call it 9. Caught 5 of them. Golden was 4 for 4. Nobody else had more than 2. Cody brought up they also passed up Jaden Daniels.
And Drake May.
That's 2.
Drake May's a monster.
Yeah, Adunze has been good.
Adunze's been better now that Keenan Allen has gone and he's got more opportunity.
That's true.
Yep.
But he's been good this year. He looks good.
I agree.
With that, Jordan Love 3 for 3 behind the line of scrimmage. So it's not like one of the things that I saw people complaining about Matt LaFleur is that he's being so conservative and running everything behind the line of scrimmage. Jordan Love only had 3 throws behind the line of scrimmage. So I don't think that part of it is accurate. I get complaining about running east and west too much in short yardage situations. That part I totally get. But the Matthew LaFleur is holding Jordan Love back by having him throw short too much. Like that part of it I don't think is accurate. Jordan Love was 12 for 16 from 0 to 9 yards, 4 for 5 from 10 to 19, which was an area of opportunity that I identified last week. So it was good to see him have a good game there. And then 0 for 2 on 20-plus yard downfield situations. Should have been 1 of 2. Should have had a touchdown on a 4th down early in the game. I think if Love throws that a foot shorter, Romeo Dobbs gets a 40-something yard touchdown. So I think it should have been 1 of 2. My problem with that is only 2 deep shots. Again,
I mean, Arizona was playing. They were playing to take
high.
away they were playing a lot of too high.
I'm still gonna say something when we get into the Jordan Love.
Okay.
So put a pin in it because I'm gonna it all of it adds up. So, jumping into the O-line, Brian, how did you feel about the O-line?
Yeah, I thought they did really good in the pass protection game. I thought overall they looked really well there, and that's kind of the story with this offensive line really for the last several years. Really good in the pass blocking, not so great in the run blocking. The interior is kind of awful. I thought they really struggled. Jenkins, I feel like, has not played all that well at center pretty much all year. He had another not beautiful game. It looks good when they're not giving up any sacks or anything, but still you're not producing as like we're talking about that. If they're playing better, that they might help Matt LaFleur escape that horrible play call on those couple and actually make a block and plow some people over. And
I think Josh Jacobs saved them a couple times too.
Yeah, I agree. So I will say, for Morgan, I feel like he's still trying to settle in. This was the first game that he played all the snaps there at right guard. So Sean Ryan did not play any. I still feel like Banks actually had an okay game. He was pretty close to, if you look at PFF grades, he was the one that was closest to average.
Summer's hotter weather is finally here. But don't let hair loss also make you sweat. Regrow hair with help from Hims. They provide access to personalized treatment so you can see thicker, fuller hair in just 3 to 6 months. Get started from the comfort of home. Fill out an intake form and a medical provider will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your treatment is sent directly to you for free. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/Hail Mary. That's HIMS.com/Hail Mary for personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/Hail Mary. Individual results may vary. Based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription required. See website for full details, restrictions, and important safety information.
I'll give him a little bit of a pass because I feel like he's still trying to get his feet wet and get ingrained into this offense because he's been so injured. But now we have a couple games in our own, so that's good. So I will say Ryan having 0 snaps. He's been pretty good. He's been decent in the run game. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, I shouldn't say that. He has his moments, but the reason I'm glad we stick with Jordan Morgan is because Jordan Morgan last week looked so good. Every big run by, Jacobs, Jordan Morgan was right there trailing him. So he was,
or at the second level.
Yeah, exactly. So not great in the run game, but overall when you can hold, and I felt like the sack that they got on Love, I feel like he kind of got ran into by his own player a little bit, there's kind of a lot of traffic there. I'd have to go back and look at it, but originally I thought he tripped over his own player. So I don't know, maybe the defensive lineman reached around and kind of tripped him over, but overall really good game for a really decent game from the offensive line. Only 2 penalties, but overall, yeah, pretty good.
Brian, Simon, how did that play into the run game?
Really, I mean, just shout out Josh Jacobs. He was truly questionable going into the game where he had to do a pre-workout with the guys and convince the training staff to just even let him play. Yeah. He said he felt like he was healthy enough to play, and I think he had an overall good game. Obviously, the Packers didn't play him as much as they usually do, so he only had 13 carries, which is a season low for him. But he went for 55 yards, 2 touchdowns, 37 yards after contact, 4 missed tackles, and he had 1 catch for 3 yards. That's 23 touchdowns in 23 games for the Packers. We're just going to keep this rolling. 1 touchdown every game, I guess. Emmanuel Wilson.
3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Emmanuel Wilson went 6 for 17. Love, again, I think he
was so close to making my bold predictions perfect because we had 27 pressures and he had 22 rushing yards. 3 yards away from my Simon Says both coming through.
Close.
I did get my one that both Gary and Parsons get a sack, right? So that was kind of nice.
So close.
But like I said last week, Love's just been so good at identifying when he can rush. And he ended up with accounted for a fumble, and luckily it just kind of fell back into his lap. So just got to hang on to the ball a little bit more. But he's been really good this year. Huh?
He got rocked by Buda
Yeah, he did.
But he just popped up smiling, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, what's up?
It's good to see him healthy this year.
I'm starting to learn that Jordan is probably a little more sturdy than we thought because he absolutely destroyed. Yeah. Yeah, but he looks a little thinner like on TV, but I don't think he's that thin.
He's a good size keeper. He's like 6'4", 220.
Yeah, he absolutely destroyed that Washington defender, and then he just took that shot. And he just pops up smiling or whatever. So as long as they don't like headhunt him, he's just fine.
Yeah. Yep. Simon, anything else you wanted to say on the run game?
Nope. Josh Jacobs is a beast.
All right, Jake, 3rd and 4th down.
Yeah, so much like defense, 3rd down was very frustrating for the first 3 quarters. On defense, we were just giving up every possible 3rd down, it seemed like. And then on offense, it honestly looked like the Three Stooges at some points in the game. I was like, dude, what the fuck are we doing right now? And I don't want to make excuses, but I know that, the delay with the airplane, they were trying to run stuff in the tarmac. I mean, that does maybe have something to do with it, I know, but in not knowing how many snaps Josh is going to play and stuff, you're already without 2 wide receivers. Now, Bryant already touched on the, missing Watson and Reed. They definitely missed Jaden Reed. I can tell you that right now. When he went down, all the deep shots started to disintegrate. He goes deep quite a bit from the slot, especially. I just don't understand why you can't do that with Matthew Golden, but whatever. I guess it's a discussion for a different day here.
It's going to be a discussion for about 5 minutes from now.
They got 19 total first downs, 10 passing, 5 rushing, 4 from penalty. They were 3 for 10 overall on 3rd downs. Some of the play calls, I didn't understand. I know a way to fix the 3rd down offense. Throw it to 85. It's pretty goddamn simple. He's elite, bro. You either give it to 8 or you give it to 85. I'm not even shitting you. It's that simple.
Or 87.
That's it.
Yeah, 87 works too.
87's okay. I think he's a little bit overused. I think some of those targets need to go to Matthew Golden. Just my opinion. He has a little bit more breakaway speed, but whatever.
All right. In the red zone, the Packers were 3 for 4 on touchdowns. They were 4 for 4 on scoring drives. The first one started at the 16-yard line. Josh Jacobs ran for 3 yards, and then they had 2 incompletions and got a field goal. The second trip to the red zone was a really nice pass play from Jordan Love to Matthew Golden for 17 yards to get him down to the 7-yard line. Showed really good touch on that play. On 1st and goal, Josh Jacobs had his first touchdown, a 7-yard touchdown run. The third one was after a roughing the passer penalty. They had 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Manuel Wilson ran for 4 yards, and then on 2nd and 6, a play action touchdown to Tucker Kraft. Like, I don't understand how you can consistently run play action and it works for you, and you don't try to do it more. Like, I've been pretty vocal about being very pro play action, but five play action attempts. Like I said before, double it, please. The 4th red zone opportunity after Jordan Love hit Tucker Kraft for 15 yards on 4th and 2. They had 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Josh Jacobs had 3 runs to turn that into a touchdown. So, again, 3 for 4 on touchdowns, 4 for 4 on scoring. And we can talk about Jordan Love now. Okay, Simon, I'll let you go first. I'm going to go last because I have a lot of numbers that I'm going to throw out. So, Simon, how do you feel about Jordan Love?
Overall, I think this was his worst game of the season, if I'm being honest. I think he just missed throws that I feel like we've consistently seen him make this year. That 4th down play to Dobbs, and I thought that 3rd down play both to the end zone, 3rd down play to Wicks. I think Wicks was open enough, and he just overshot him. I think the fumble it's not like an issue for Jordan Love or anything, or I don't feel bad about it, but that could have easily, a football bounces whatever way it wants. And that's something that could have gotten away from him a little bit. But on a lighter note, I think Love made some really clutch throws in this game, both to Golden and Kraft. I thought he made some absolutely great throws. As far as like people saying Love doesn't show up in like big areas, I think it's been the complete opposite this year. Looking at every game this year, he matched Dallas swing for swing when the defense was giving up points, and I think I slam Matt LaFleur more at the end of the game than Jordan Love for that being a tie. Like I said, I would have rather him just gone for it and trusted Love to try to put it in the end zone. And then their kicker wouldn't even have had a chance to win. He drive down for the game-winning field goal attempt versus the Browns. Not his fault. Got it. The pick is his fault, but at the end of the day, he turned it around and he went down, drove the team down and set up a game-winning field goal attempt. He went up 2 possessions against the Bengals to put it out of reach. And then I think it was completely on Jordan Love that they even went for it on 4th and 2 to get them to score the game-winning touchdown. So I give a lot of credit to Jordan Love this year when it comes to like clutch situations or putting games out of reach or even winning games. That's all I got.
Brian, how did you feel about Jordan Love?
Yeah, I thought overall he played pretty well. The one big play is that throw to Romeo Dobbs. I will say I do not like when it's 4th and 2 or whatever, 4th and 1, and we're chucking them. I get it. He was open. It's still a hard play to complete. We're chucking the ball way down the field. He needs to make that throw, yes, but for him, and him and Matt LaFleur want to do that. I would rather just, do a quick out to one of them that is a really high percentage, or take that shot on 3rd down, if you plan to go for it on 4th down anyway. But he needs to make that throw, but you are introducing a higher risk, higher, probability that's not going to be completed for a deep throw like that, because those are hard throws to hit.
I think the defense is part of that too, though, because on 4th and 2, I think the defense plays closer to the line of scrimmage, thinking that you're going to be trying to get those higher completions.
But I feel like you can dial something up.
Opens up that deep shot.
You can probably dial something up to beat that. But yeah, he needs to hit the throw, but they seem to do that a lot when it's like 4th and whatever, and they. But I'll say he made some absolute great throws too. I thought that the touchdown to Tucker Kraft, I felt like he kind of really had to get that out there quickly, and it wasn't a huge window, and he made that complete. That other 4th down that we converted, that I was really surprised we snapped the ball. I thought that was an absolutely gorgeous throw. I think that was the goal, and I can't remember exactly. Yeah, that was a gorgeous throw. And then to buy the time, Tucker Kraft on that 4th and 2, Matt LaFleur basically came out and said that play was not for Tucker Kraft, and Tucker Kraft pretty much the 3rd look on that one, and he got to it and he floated. When he threw that ball, I was like, did we really I didn't think it was. You probably had a better view in stadium of it, Simon. Like, oh, he's going to complete that. On the TV, I was like, where is this ball going? And then I just see it kind of drop in Tucker Kraft's hands. I was like, oh my gosh,
he's got like 4 steps of separation.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh man, and he placed it right on the sidelines. It was just nerve wracking. Great play or whatever. So overall, I thought he played pretty decent. He put his body on the line a couple times. I don't want to see him take quite that hard of a shot, even though that he got up and popped up, was smiling. Like that was a hard shot. Great job on him sliding on the next one. That guy definitely wanted to pop him again. But overall, I thought he played pretty well. There was a couple throws in the first half that he needs to hit, but once again, he put us in position to win the game. So good job.
Jake, how do you feel about Jordan Love?
I felt like I usually did, where every once in a while I go, oh my God, dude. And then the other times I go, how the hell did he just complete that pass? What the hell is going on right now? He just, God, he's confusing. He's so confusing to me, where he makes some, when he runs especially, I know he was joking about it before going into this game. I'm like, brother, you do not have shake like that. I know that you think that you do, but you do not. You are not Jaden Daniels. You are not Michael Vick. You take your big silly body ass and you go forward, okay? Pretty fast and straight in a straight line, but you don't have that side to side stuff. I'm sorry. And then every once in a while he makes a throw like Brian was just talking about the throw to Tucker Kraft. That was literally perfect. The timing, everything, and great route by Kraft too, to use the shoulder to kind of shove off the DB. I mean, that was perfect. All of that was perfect. And then he makes some throws, and you're just like, and some of his decisions, and I'm like, dude, what the are you looking at, bro? What is happening right now? I felt like that. I feel like that literally every week. I don't know what I'm watching sometimes. But when he needed to make plays, like I've said countless times, he made the goddamn plays. So I can't be upset because the Packers are winning. Or 4-1-1. I can't be mad.
Hey, you know how you just said Jordan Love doesn't have that shake?
He doesn't.
I looked up something. I was just looking the other day, and Jordan Love is fourth in the NFL by non-QBs or non-halfbacks in missed tackles forced.
What?
He has 6.
I wonder how much of that is in the pocket though when he's using his feet to move.
I don't think it counts because I was looking at rushing
be
grades
classified as in a scramble or
in a rusher as a rusher.
I will say I thought he did
He
that
made
nice
miss
cut this
against
game
Washington.
and made someone miss him.
How
Yeah,
many?
he had one.
Probably made 4 people miss on one run versus Washington, bro. That's literally probably what happened.
I'll have to look it up.
Well, if you haven't watched it yet, watch the mic'd up by Edrin Cooper because he does call him. He's like, "Run, silly buddy."
All right. So now I got to be like the Debbie Downer of this, but it's good in what I want for Jordan Love. So again, it's not that I don't think Matt LaFleur is holding Jordan Love back, but I think he's not giving Jordan Love enough opportunity. And so in a game where Josh Jacobs is banged up, to only have 5 play action passes and only 2 deep shots in a game where Jordan Love threw 29 passes. Cody asked if we're in year 3 of start Clifford. No, everybody wants to start Malik Willis now.
I'm still on start Bankert. I don't know. You guys are.
So here's my thing. Jordan Love threw 29 passes. Josh Jacobs is banged up. Only 2 deep shots, only 5 play action passes. This is the NFL. The NFL just this week. Jordan Love, 29 passes. Carson Wentz threw 42 passes. Bryce Young and Andy Dalton combined for 32 passes. Patrick Mahomes in 3 quarters, 35 passes. Cam Ward, 34 passes. Tua Tagovailoa and Quinn Ewers combined for 31 passes. Spencer Rattler threw 32 passes. Daniel Jones threw 34 passes. Jackson Dart threw 33 passes. Jaden Daniels and Marcus Mariota combined threw 32 passes. Michael Penix Jr. threw 38 passes. Jacoby Brissett on the other team threw 36. Bo Nix threw 50. Justin Herbert threw 55.
Really? I didn't watch that game. I don't know
Justin
what
Herbert was
happened.
3 passes away from having double the pass attempts that Jordan Love did.
What happened in that game?
I mean, to be fair, they were down by like multiple scores.
And I get that, and so were the Broncos. But we're talking almost doubling Jordan Love's pass attempts. We're talking about rookies having more pass attempts than Jordan Love. Let him throw the ball more.
Lad McConkey had 15 targets. Holy shit.
Damn.
And he's getting like the most. I think he's like in the top 5 in double team percentage. I saw a thing
That's
today.
crazy. I didn't see that. That explains why. Okay.
But
Anyways.
seriously, we're talking about guys getting hurt and their backups combining to still throw more than Jordan Love.
I think Joe Flacco threw it 52 times, and Jamar Chase had 19 targets and 16 catches.
Joe Flacco threw 47 passes because my Simon Says on Offense this week involves Joe Flacco's numbers. So 47 passes by Joe Flacco. All of these guys are throwing more than Jordan Love. In a game where your running back, the literal reason to not give Jordan Love more throws is limited. Put the ball in Jordan Love's hands and let him sling that shit.
That's a good point.
But then Emmanuel Wilson wouldn't get his 7 carries.
6th fewest pass attempts in the NFL.
He's not
talked about Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks and who should get more touches and wanting less running with Savion Williams. Stop manufacturing touches for backup running backs and give the ball to your fucking quarterback that you've paid $55 million a year.
That's all logical, honestly.
Let him throw the ball more, please.
Ah.
Okay, you guys ready to move on to the Steelers?
Yes.
Okay.
You mean Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, the Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlins.
Jeez.
All right. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers defense against the Steelers on Sunday Night Football?
Hold on. I always get these backwards.
I'll say we did win a game real quick. Just
Yeah,
looking
go
at
ahead.
it, we did win a game where they had the ball for almost 9 minutes more than us. I can't remember how many plays we ran, but it wasn't many. So people need we ran 53 plays versus 70.
Granted, the Cardinals, a lot of dinking and dunking. That's what the Packers have been trying to do, is force teams to dink and dunk. So
Speaking
I'll
of,
say that. But like I said, when we talk about it, we'll talk about it more too.
Speaking of dinking and dunking, Rodgers is tied for 4th in the league in sacks taken as like a low amount, with only 9. He has the 2nd lowest average depth of target in the league, the 5th lowest time to throw, so he's getting the ball out of his hands, and he's also a master manipulator in the pocket. It is going to be hard pressed to get Aaron Rodgers on the ground this week, and the Steelers don't have a great offensive line. They're 10th in pressure rate, like 10th most in pressure rate, but they just get the ball out of his hands so fast. And Arthur Smith likes to run a lot of like 2-3 tight end sets where he'll get Darnell Washington. I forgot. I just lost his name.
Freiermuth,
thank you. And
Jonnu
Smith. Jeez, on the field. The tight end trio.
They're all good too. Like,
yeah, they're all solid tight ends, and they've all had they figure out a way to get Darnell Washington down the field. It's
the dude is huge.
Yeah, what was he 6'7", 260 or something?
They say he's listed like 245 or 250 right now. They said that he's more realistically like 270 right now.
Yeah,
I think when we were doing draft stuff, I think he was like 280.
Yeah, he was like 270 or 280.
He looks like an offensive tackle running down the field.
Yeah,
except you put him next to his left tackle.
He can move too. He's not like slow.
I mean, Jake and I had him as our top tight end from last year's draft.
Yeah. Yeah, he's fun. He's definitely fun to play. I think we all wanted him in like the 2nd round or 3rd round. But they like to get a lot of 2-3 tight end looks. It's going to be a matter of getting in their face, force them to run a good route, not let them run down the field. Also, I like Jalen Warren a lot. I think he's a really good player. He's definitely a spark plug, and he can cause a lot of problems.
He is their most literally, aside from DK, he's definitely their most explosive playmaker.
I don't even talk about DK because I just don't. I don't know. I will say the Steelers' offense looks a lot better now at what I thought they would be.
Yeah.
This year, like I thought, signing all these geriatric players and stuff would like hinder them, but they look legit. That offense is not bad, and Rodgers is still a goat. He's so good.
He still got it.
Yeah, he's still got it.
It's gonna be frustrating.
I think every time I'm like flipping through the channels or whatever, I see the Steelers game, I just like message you guys. I'm like, Rodgers still looks good.
Yeah,
I actually been watching because I'm still a huge Rodgers fan. I know some Packers fans can't get over that. Like, I love Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
so I've watched every Pittsburgh Steelers game this year.
Simon pretty much brought up a couple things that I highlighted was who wants the first sack on Rodgers?
Yeah,
who wants it? Go get it. Like you said, he's quick getting the ball out, but Micah Parsons has been pretty damn quick at getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, Rodgers he's just so good in the pocket. As much as I praise Jordan Love, I think that's something he really took away from Rodgers was his ability to manipulate the pocket and avoid sacks.
So the one thing for me too, because am I going to jump into mine then?
Yeah, you're good. No, Jake, you're up.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, so before I go on to tight ends, Rodgers still wants to take a couple shots a game, and I think this defense or this offense wants to do that because DK wants to get down the field. So I think those are going to be your couple chances to get to Aaron Rodgers. So we need to make him pay, and this is where maybe McKinney can get his hands on a ball or something. Rodgers has thrown a few interceptions. I'll say 3 of them are legitimately on him. The other ones probably weren't really. Like the one that happened this weekend where this Cincinnati player ripped the ball away. Like, that's not on Aaron Rodgers. Another one was a really bad tip or whatever. Yeah. But when he would have hit Freiermuth for touchdown in the end zone. But so, as I said earlier, tight ends have 46 catches, 357 yards and 5 touchdowns against us so far this year in 6 games, while Jonnu Smith, Freiermuth, and Darnell Washington are all going to be heavily involved in the game. And actually, their running backs, Gainwell and Warren, are heavily involved in the pass game as well. So, for the top 5 reception receivers on the Pittsburgh Steelers are running backs and tight ends. They have DK Metcalf has the most receptions at 22. Their next closest wide receiver has 10 receptions on the year, and that's Calvin Austin. So you're going to be seeing a lot of passes to tight end and running back, and that's where these linebackers once again need to be ready to play close to him. And I think this is where you want Javon Bowler to play good, or maybe this would be a good game to have Hobbs in the slot where he's better coverage. We're going to need to cover these tight ends and these running backs. Otherwise, Rodgers is going to pick us apart, and he'll do those. I guarantee we'll see a couple of those things we're used to seeing, where he just looks out and does some little like this to DK Metcalf, like a smoke screen, and he's going to stand up and he's going to whip it right out to DK. We got to be ready to freaking tackle that guy, because otherwise, we've seen him do it. He can take it 80 yards to the house. So just be ready. And then Warren is a little bit of a problem. If he gets into space, he's hard to bring down. He can make some plays. So people, they need to be ready. This is a good team that we're coming up against. This is a playoff team we're coming up against. So, and this team could have very easily been, 5-1. Once again, Aaron Rodgers brings his team down the field, puts him, we've seen this happen with us too. Game-winning touchdown, which should have been a game-winning touchdown. His defense lets him down. But so this is a very good team we're going up against.
You guys both kind of touched on Jaylen Warren, and the thing with him, he's been very good. He, in my mind, has shown why the Steelers were right to let Najee Harris walk.
Yeah. Well, Najee also sucks.
Well, but I mean, like, they used him as a bell cow.
I don't like him.
He was serviceable, but
He has a role.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
let
yeah,
him
for
walk
sure.
and basically say, okay, our last 2 years backup is going to be our starter now.
Najee will get you 3 yards.
Not anymore.
That's pretty good with the running back.
Down. Oh my God.
Anyways, Jaylen Warren showing why they were right to let him walk. He's averaging 99 scrimmage yards a game. And then the other thing I was going to say on Jonnu Smith, when the Packers played the Dolphins last year, Jonnu Smith was all over the place. I think he had like 13 receptions last year.
Yeah, that was nasty.
I don't think it was quite that many, but it was not fun.
No, I think it was.
He was very, very heavily involved. So, Jonnu kind of had the Packers number a little bit the last time they played. So, Jake, what else are you looking for from the Packers defense?
Yeah, I just wrote down that the Steelers' rush attack isn't really a threat. They use the short passing game because of the lack of running game, so they throw it to the tight ends, the running backs, kind of stuff that you guys have been saying already. Green Bay obviously is very good versus the run as well, so that kind of should negate any running game that could happen. Obviously, Rodgers is going to check into it when he has to. He's seen every single defense. We've seen this guy for a long time. Bryant, I'm in the same boat. Rodgers is my favorite Packer of all time, dude. I've watched a lot of Steelers games. I still enjoy listening to the Green 19. Like, I still do that every once in a while before games. I get myself hyped up. I'm like, Green 19! Like, I get into it, man. Like, he was part of my childhood, man. So we were really in the generation with the transition from Favre to Rodgers, so that was a big moment for us, when we lost Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, we've been pretty lucky with Jordan Love, but back to the Packers defense. DK Metcalf is fast. We cannot let him get in the open field. We have to gang tackle this week. Warren is Warren is also very hard to stop in the open field, so gang tackling is going to have to be a thing that has to happen. If I'm Hafley, I am doubling DK Metcalf. I am not letting DK Metcalf beat me. I know that Pat Freiermuth is good enough to win some one-on-ones. I'm going to let the Roman Wilsons and the Calvin Austin III of the world try to beat me in this game if I am Jeff Hafley. Hafley, if you somehow see this, I swear to God, if you let Hobbs be one-on-one with DK Metcalf, I am coming to your house. Do not let that happen without safety help over the top.
I would rather Keyshawn Nixon follow him everywhere.
Just put a goddamn safety over Hobbs. It's not that difficult. And don't let it be Evan Williams because he's too goddamn slow, clearly.
He's been not bad this year.
Dude,
Evan Williams has been fine. It was just this last game.
He's had a couple this year on the boundary where he's been too late. It's happened a couple times. I know the defense has had good performances, but I've seen it. I'm telling you.
Bryant, what are you looking for special teams this week?
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to keep an eye on the Manis injury. I talked about the challenges of kicking in Pittsburgh. I won't feel very comfortable with anything over 50 yards this week because it's just not. It's something like crazy. Like the longest kick in that field, that stadium is like 55 or 56 yards or something, or maybe unless Boswell broke that finally. But it's not an easy place to kick in at all. So speaking of that, they have Chris Boswell. If this comes down to a kicking competition, we're probably going to lose because Boswell's used to kicking that in that stadium, and he can make those kicks. So he's a very solid kicker. So, we need to put up points on the board and, don't leave it in special teams' hands. Maybe Haverslick can get it done or McManus, but I'd rather just, score touchdowns versus field goals because it's not fun to kick there because the field conditions are kind of crap and you have a lot of swirling wind and stuff. So I will say they don't have – none of their returners have been overly dangerous. I feel like Whelan really hasn't played all – like we've seen him – first couple games, it's like, holy crap, this guy's just bombing the ball, putting inside the 20. The last couple games, I feel like he's accidentally kicked a couple in the end zone. He had one pretty egregious one against Arizona that he had 68 yards of room and he still put it into the end zone. It's like, you got to put that in the 10-yard line, buddy. You can't do that. So, yeah, pal, buddy old pal. I'm going to write him a letter, I think. But yeah, so hopefully, he can flip the field for us and, just continue doing what they've been doing where they're not losing us games. But, this last one, they pretty much won us a game to a certain degree, but I don't think we need them to do that. I just think we need them to be solid.
Yeah. Improving, I would say that they're trending in the right direction. On coaching, I know I already hammered on it, but Matt LaFleur, let Jordan Love throw the ball 30-plus times, please. I get that, again, if Josh Jacobs is healthy, that's a reason not to. But if Josh Jacobs is any sort of questionable, put the ball in Jordan Love's hands more, not in Emmanuel Wilson and Chris Brooks' hands more. Other aspects of coaching need fewer penalties, especially when several of them result in first downs or automatic first downs. 10 is too many penalties. And then, again, teams are possessing the ball too long. Bryant kind of alluded to it. 34 minutes and 10 seconds of possession for Arizona is about 5 minutes in the wrong direction. I'd like to see the Packers in that 31-32 mark, but also efficiently. I don't want them in, 3-and-out situations, and that's why they don't have the ball for quite as long. But I don't need the Packers to have the ball for 35 minutes. I'm okay with them having 4- and 5-minute drives as long as they're resulting in efficient scoring drives. That's fine. But also not letting your opponent, Cincinnati, come out of the halftime and have a 10-minute touchdown drive. That you just can't do that. So I need the coaching staff to shorten up the opposing offenses a little bit. Simon, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
This kind of, I guess, depends on Josh Jacobs' calf. Hopefully it's feeling a little bit better to this week. Steelers are allowing 4.4 yards per rush. It's pretty solid, and they've allowed 7 total rushing touchdowns. The other thing is holding up TJ Watt and Nick Herbig. They both have 23 pressures, and each of them have 5 sacks. So they've been kind of a handful for teams this year.
Brian, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so sorry, I was looking something up. Simon hit on something there, too, that I was going to talk about. So for our O-line, they got their defensive line is a handful. TJ Watt's very good. Herbig is very good. Benton is very good. Harmon's already showed that he can play. And then Hayward on the interior. So our interior guys need to be ready to go. They have like 5 players with 2+ sacks. Ramsey will fire also. Like he's going to fire from the side. So be prepared for that. I'll say that you can run against this team. They have, like Simon said, 4.4 yards per carry. I saw that they only gave up 4 rushing touchdowns, but not 7. But either way, and they'll also try to punch the ball out. They forced 3 fumbles, which doesn't seem like a lot, but they've recovered every single one they punched out. So you just got to be careful, be cognizant that they're going to try to do that. As for the wide receivers, Pittsburgh has kind of an interesting secondary. I feel like they have, Ramsey's still a very good talent. They can be thrown against. They're second in the league with giving up like 258 yards per game. They have a decent safety group. But I'll say they do have Darius Slay. They've given up 10 touchdowns, but 5 interceptions. But they also have Darius Slay there, and I feel like you can potentially beat him deep. I feel like if we can get Golden, who's been has quiet this last week, if we can Golden or Watson against Darius Slay and maybe they don't get the safety help over in time, I feel like Darius Slay is someone we can burn deep.
He got cooked last week.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he did.
I feel like that's someone we can beat. Joey Porter's been fine. Ramsey's been fine. I don't know why their safeties' names are escaping me right now, but one of them's played decent, pretty good actually ball, and then the other one's kind of struggled a little bit. So if we can get like that, the safety that struggled on the same side as Darius Slay and go deep on him or something, maybe we can force something this week. But our offensive line will have to hold up because, like I said, their defensive line is kind of like ours, where it's pretty well rounded and a lot of people can get pressure. So I'm really hoping Watson plays this week, even for 10 or 12 snaps, because I feel like it could be a difference maker.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to bring up in a little bit. Jake, what are you looking for from the Packers offense?
Safeties are Chuck Clark and Deshaun Elliott is the ones that I remember. Chuck Clark is more of like the box safety.
Yeah, and Deshaun Elliott is the one that's played. He's actually played pretty good ball this year.
Yeah, he has. So on top of, the obvious names, the Highsmiths and the TJ Watts, I mean, Nick Herbig, former Badger, I would love to have him in red and white on Saturdays right now. He's been balling. And there's another guy I love is Keanu Benton. He's been really, really good this year. He's honestly entering his name as like one of the most underrated players in the NFL, in my opinion. Now, maybe that's a little bit of homer in me, but, dude, he has been dominating on one-on-one. So Aaron Banks versus him is going to be a big-time matchup, in my opinion. I wrote down that the Packers offense in 2025, when it is at its peak, is two things: Josh Jacobs and vertical threats. So this would be the perfect week for Christian Watson to come back. Love is obviously one of the best quarterbacks if you look at big-time throws and average depth of target when he's going right. So this is a really good matchup for Jordan Love and the Packers offense, because the Steelers like to give up deep shots for some reason. Like, that's not a good plan going forward, but, if you want to do that this week, that's great. I would love to get Zero involved. I also wrote down, I do think that the Steelers are a little bit slow in the DB room. They have some guys that could use some walkers at this point, and they were struggling with a lot of motion against the Bengals, and that's something that the Packers have been doing a lot of this year. So I think motions, deep shots, like Simon said before, they give up a little over 4 yards per carry in the run game. This is a really good matchup for the Packers offense.
Yeah, and like you just said, more deep shots, and I want to see more play action. Brian's going to talk about the injuries, but I'm looking at the passing game distribution. If Dontavian Wicks can't play, if Watson can't play, I'm fine with Dobbs and Kraft getting most of the targets, with Matthew Golden and Josh Jacobs getting chunks of them after that. Other than that, please give Malik Heath snaps to Savion Williams. I don't need to see anything from Malik Heath. I don't. He played 25 snaps last week, 23 snaps this week. Like, let Savion Williams have his snaps. Like, Malik Heath was not targeted at all in his 23 snaps. He had, I think it was one target last week. Like, let's get Savion Williams on the field. I think he's much more of a piece of our future than Malik Heath is. And until Christian Watson is back, I just don't need to see Malik Heath on the field. In the red zone, Pittsburgh is allowing the fifth lowest red zone touchdown percentage at 47.83. Cincinnati scored touchdowns from 8, 29, and 5, and then had 4 field goals, 3 of which came in the red zone. So Pittsburgh has bent, not broken, but also given up a lot of points. If Green Bay gets 5 tries, I'd like to see 3 scores. I would love 4. The Packers are currently scoring touchdowns on 72% of their red zone tries. So, again, if they're between 60 and 80, that's pretty much where they're averaged. Again, I'd love them to be at 80. I would be okay with it if they were at 60, because that still exceeds what Pittsburgh allows. So, Bryant, what are those injury designations we're watching for?
Yeah, so for the Steelers, there's pretty much nothing really to report. They are coming. Don't forget they're coming off the mini bye, so they do have that little bit of advantage over us. They a little extra rest, so I didn't see really anything of concern on their what I can see so far injury report. But for us, it's going to be Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness, which Matt LaFleur said he wasn't overly optimistic that he would play this week, but that. He says overly optimistic. I don't know. Maybe he's a little optimistic. And, Matt LaFleur is tongue-in-cheek when it comes to all these things. So Wyatt, Van Ness, McManus, Christian Watson, obviously, and then Dontavian Wicks.
All right, Jake, what's the weather going to be like?
Mid-40s, winds light and variable.
Variable.
That's the literal word.
All right. Simon, who's your X Factor?
I have Nate Hobbs. If they're going to be insistent on him playing, he just has to be better. And I think you kind of alluded to it earlier. If they end up playing a lot of like 2-3 tight end sets, maybe it would be beneficial to play him more in the slot and let Valentine get some more snaps, or if they just have Nixon out there on DK or something. But he just has to be better.
Yeah, if you don't think that Aaron Rodgers watched that tape this weekend, is absolutely licking his chops anytime he sees Nate Hobbs one-on-one with DK. When you watch Aaron Rodgers' audio about the line of scrimmage, it's probably because he's looking over and seeing Nate Hobbs and realizing that the safeties can't get over in time or something.
Yep. If we can see it, Aaron Rodgers can see it. Jake.
Shade McKinney.
Brian, who's your X Factor?
So mine's kind of more of a group. I put the interior offensive linemen. I just feel like, TJ Watt and Herbig and stuff are going to cross some disruption on the outside, but we can't let a lot of quick pressure right up the middle, otherwise we're in trouble. So we need the interior offensive line, who have not played all that well, although their pass blocking has been good, to step up and make sure they're not letting Harmon and Benton and all them get right up through the middle. So
is Harmon off the injury report? I know he was banged up.
He wasn't on their injury report. He was good to go.
All right, Jake, who's your X Factor?
I have what pass rush duo will be better. Whichever pass rush duo disturbs the game the most is going to obviously help their team a lot. I wrote down some Jordan Love stats just to show how crazy it is. Love, when kept clean, has 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, 133.5 quarterback rating. He has 7 big-time throws and 1 drop pass. When he's under pressure, 0 touchdowns, interception, 38.1 quarterback rating, 4 big-time throws and 4 drops, so that's not helping him, obviously. Pittsburgh also blitzes on 31.6% of their snaps, and their third down blitz percentage has gone up from last year. It was 16.9. This year it's 33%. So how Love navigates that blitz is going to be big in this game.
I think I said it to you guys. I'm like, I think under pressure, when he's kept clean, he might be the best quarterback in the league. But when he's under pressure, he's middle of the pack. He just needs to find his guy. I don't care I literally don't care if Romeo Dobbs is getting 15 targets a game. Find your guy on third down. Yeah. And
just throw him the damn ball.
Yeah. My X Factor, second week in a row, but I wrote really big in bold letters, please, I need Watson. You guys spent a whole bunch of time, and Simon Bryant's X Factor even is the interior offensive line for the run blocking. Having Christian Watson out there can help you in that aspect too. It's not just for the receiving aspect of it that I want Christian Watson out there. He is a very good blocking wide receiver also. So we complained for a big chunk of the recap of the Arizona game about running outside and not being able to have it blocked well. I'd feel better running outside if Christian Watson is out there blocking for him. So second week in a row, I need Christian Watson. Simon, what is your score prediction from the head?
I have us losing 24-21.
I hate you.
I know.
Bryant?
I have us winning 26-24.
Ooh. So I am that guy that has gone with what the score has been every time the Packers won. I have 27-24.
I'm the same. I have 27-20.
Nice. All right. Simon from the heart.
I'm also the same. I have 27-21 Packers.
We suck.
Yes, Scott, he has to be activated by Monday, but they can activate him and then just not have him on the active roster.
Yeah, he could be on the roster and just be inactive during game day if they don't feel like he's ready.
Yep. Bryant, what's your score prediction from the heart?
30-21.
Ooh.
Jake?
I like that one. That one sounds more like it, Bryant. I have 37-20. I have an ass whooping.
Jeez.
I have double digits, but not by that much. I have 33-23.
Yeah, I wish. I literally walked upstairs after that game on Sunday, and I told Amanda, I said, you better enjoy me into my mid-50s because I will die of a heart attack from this team.
Dude, seriously.
Put in that life insurance policy, bro.
Yeah.
She's like, yes, only 16 more years.
I will say Matt LaFleur said something that even though he's gone, that Craig Counsell said when he was the coach of the Brewers, that pressure is a privilege. Like I get that Bryant gets stressed out by it, but part of it is the fact that we have high expectations, which is a good thing. I would much rather be in this position than being like on a Jets podcast and being like, all right, how many points do we think we're losing by this week?
We need to put it in perspective a little bit. Sorry, real quick. I should have sent it to you guys, but I seen an interview earlier. It was of a Jets fan. He must have been like,
I saw that
walking out, and the guy doing the interview is like, "What do you think of the Jets team?" And you see the kid take one more step, and he just paused and turns to the guy, and he's like, "I hate the Jets."
He was like, "I was born into this,
so I have no choice, but I hate it."
Scott said 35-27 pack.
Yeah, but if we put it in perspective a little bit, Green Bay is the only one-loss team in the NFC. They're the only team that has not lost in the conference. They're number one in the conference. And then one other thing I'll say is I don't remember which media head was talking or whatever, but they basically said that there was someone that went around and listened to a bunch of fan bases, other fan podcasts and stuff of teams that have expectations. They said every single one of them are like doom and gloom and think their team is like struggling. So it's not out of the norm, but it's good that we can kind of like, well, this is what's going good and this is what needs to improve or whatever. We definitely see the flaws. It's, they know what their flaws are. They just need to fix them. So.
And again, we don't want to be peaking in week 7. We want to peak in week 21.
Yeah.
That would be the best week to peak.
That would be the best week to peak.
Very true.
Okay. Jumping into Simon Says, Bryant, I'm sure you probably have more than 2.
Just 3.
Okay, just 3.
I'll have the bonus.
You can go first.
Okay, I'll tie the 2 in together.
This is good. Okay, first of all, I want to preface this. This is gonna be hard because I think this is a game we drop.
Okay. I put that Jordan Love throws for more yards and touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers. And then the other one is that if he comes back, Watson welcomes himself back to the NFL with a 40-plus yard touchdown.
I like it because I can't remember which one of you said it, that the Steelers cornerbacks are like aging and they're not very fast. I think if Watson comes back and plays a handful of snaps, I think he's going to get a long reception, whether it's a touchdown or not. But he's going to get a long reception in this game. And I like the idea that Jordan Love could pass for more touchdowns and yards than Aaron Rodgers. Yes.
All right, do offense.
For the 3rd time in 4 weeks, Matthew Golden gets his first touchdown.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
I'm just going to keep saying it's all right, so I feel good.
LOL.
I thought he was
so it happens.
I thought he was about to get it this game on that one catch where he started rounding the corner. I thought he was about to go.
I thought so too.
All right, so mine ties into, like I said, with Joe Flacco. I put that Love outdoes Flacco's 3 touchdowns versus the Steelers with 12 fewer pass attempts, which would be 35.
And
Flacco had 47.
No, I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Love outdoes Flacco's 3 touchdowns.
Okay, 3 touchdowns. So he has 4 touchdowns. I mean, it's possible. But I have the opposite. I have Josh Jacobs running for 3 touchdowns.
One of us will be right.
Or both of us.
Yeah, I put up 60 points.
Yeah, Packers drop a cool 58 on the Steelers.
That'd be so sick. Somehow we still find a way to win 58-56 just so we couldn't relax, though.
Yeah.
Don't even put that out there, dog.
Darnell Washington with 4 touchdowns.
4 in the 4th quarter.
All right, let's go to defense.
Yeah, my bold prediction, and maybe this is how we get the win, but I put Green Bay gets a pick 6 off of Rodgers.
I literally wrote down, I don't care who it is. This will be Rodgers' only game versus the Packers. I want a pick 6.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
Which would be crazy because he just doesn't throw those.
He doesn't do it.
He's had like 5 in his career.
Yeah. Jake, you got one for defense?
I have the Packers force 2 turnovers in one game. 2 of them in one game. We haven't seen that in a long time.
That kind of works into mine. Oh, he does have 5. I wrote Rodgers has more turnovers than touchdowns.
That'd be sick.
Dude. If he does that, your score prediction is ass, Simon. Straight up.
But that was my initial thought. That was my head. I was like, I think this is a game we drop.
Well,
Pittsburgh's a tough place to play on the road.
It is, and that's kind of what factored into it.
I can't say I'm not on the same page as you. I cannot pick against them. We've had this conversation. I can't
watching the Bengals that we just held to 18 points, drop 33 on them right after that. I'm like, okay, yep, we're good.
Don't forget they had just came back from overseas off a bye and going on the road on Thursday nights suck. So
yeah, that's weird.
Alrighty, well,
we went to Detroit
for
tuning in. Their ass up and down the field last Thanksgiving, or a couple Thanksgivings ago, and that was a Thursday night game. So
Scott put up a bold prediction.
Oh, I wrote it down.
Scott put down for 4 sacks for Michael Parsons.
That'd be sick.
That'd be amazing.
That'd be
I'd
so
be surprised the Packers got 4 as a team, but if Parsons had all of them,
I'm not sure how
I don't even give a shit. Alrighty. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in, sticking with us live for the whole show. We appreciate it. Jake and I will be back tomorrow to talk about the Brewers for a little bit and the Badgers football for even less a little bit. And then we're doing our Badger basketball primer tomorrow, so that's definitely going to be the highlight of the show.
There's some hope.
So next Wednesday, not tomorrow, but the following Wednesday, we are going to have Milwaukee Bucks recaps. And then again, we will be back again next Tuesday recapping the Packers game against the Steelers and previewing Week 9. So, Scott, thank you. Appreciate the compliments. And we'll see everybody next week and tomorrow.
Go Pack.
If you're a podcast host, listen up. This one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle. And I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.